For this lesson, you're going to learn about order of operations. First thing we're going to do are the review exercises. So go ahead and pause the video, do them on your own, and then you can play the video to check your answers. Okay, number one. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite -2 squared using repeated multiplication. So that's going to be a -2 times a -2, which is going to be a +4. Remember, a negative times a negative equals a positive. Number two, we have a negative and then 3 cubed, or 3 to the 3rd power. So I'm going to rewrite the 3 cubed as repeated multiplication. So that's going to be 3 times 3 times 3. And then I'm going to add that negative from the front. You can also write that as a -1. So -1 times 3 is a -3. -3 times 3 is -9, and then -9 times 3 is a -27. Number 3, we have a -1 to the 3rd power. So we're going to rewrite that -1 times a -1 times a -1. -1 times -1 is a +1, and then a +1 times a -1 is a -1. Okay, let's go over order of operations. Most of you have probably already learned this. Maybe you have a little saying that goes with PEMDAS. I've heard the one that says, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," to help remember what order to go in. First thing that you're always going to look at is where the parentheses. Now the parentheses could look like this, or they might be like brackets. So look for one of those types of parentheses, and whatever is inside of that is what you're going to do first. Next, you're going to do anything that has an exponent. So it might look something like this, 2 to the 3rd power. You would want to solve that first before moving on. Next is multiplication and division, and we always work our way in the problem from left to right. And the last step is addition and subtraction. Again, you're always solving the problem from left to right, looking for addition and subtraction. So we have parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and then addition and subtraction. So you want to make sure that you're going in that order. Okay, so let's look at number 1. So the directions say solve each of the following. So I have this problem right here, and according to order of operations, I want to look for parentheses. And I see parentheses right here. So you want to solve anything inside of the parentheses now according to the PEMDAS rules, according to order of operations. Well, in this problem, there's only one operation, which is subtraction, so you're going to do that first. So 8 minus 6 is 2. So now I'm going to rewrite the problem with 2 there instead of 8 minus 6. Okay, next step. So I saw all of my parentheses. Now be careful, right here, there are parentheses, but remember, those parentheses now don't mean grouping. Those parentheses mean multiplication. So make sure that you can tell the difference whether they're grouping parentheses or whether they mean multiply. Okay, so next step is, are there any exponents? I'm looking, there's no exponents. Is there any multiplication or division? Well, I see that there's 3 times 2, that's multiplication, and there's 49 divided by 7. So first I'm going to start from the left side and then go to the right side. So first I'm going to start with 3 times 2, which is 6. That's all the way on the left side. I'm going to rewrite the rest of my problem. And now I see division. 49 divided by 7 is 7. So this is 7 right here. And then I'm going to bring down everything else, so 6 plus 7. And then our last step, 6 plus 7, is 13. So according to order of operations, your answer is going to be 13. Okay, let's try number 2. So first thing I'm looking at is parentheses. So I have a set of parentheses right here, and I have a set of parentheses right here. So in the first set of parentheses, I'm going to solve that. 3 minus 5 is a negative 2. So I'm going to rewrite that, negative 1 times a negative 2 plus 2 times 7 plus 2 squared. So I'm going to rewrite that. Okay, now I still have these parentheses right here. So I need to look at order of operations and decide, am I going to do the exponent first, or am I going to add those two numbers together first? Well, according to order of operations, I have to do the exponents first. So I'm going to rewrite the problem, negative 1 times a negative 2 plus 2 times 7 plus, now I'm going to deal with those exponents. 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay. Now I'm going to keep going with the parentheses. I still have to finish whatever's inside the parentheses. So I need to add together that 7 plus 4, which is 11. Okay. Next step, are there any exponents? No, we did that. Is there any multiplication or division? There's actually two multiplication problems. There's that negative 1 times a negative 2, and there's 2 times 11. So I have to go from left to right, so I'm going to do negative 1 times a negative 2 first, which is 2, plus 2 times 11. I'm going to rewrite that. Then I'm going to do the second multiplication problem. 2 times 11 is 22. So I have 2 plus 22. And then I'm going to add 2 plus 22, which is 24. So that would be your final answer. According to order of operations, this answer is 24.